begin by settling the body, adopting a stable, comfortable, upright position, serviceable for meditation. So think about keeping our feet flat and our back straight, torso open, hands in the lap, right over left with the palms upturned and the thumbs gently touching. Our eyes are gently closed or slightly open, making sure we let in enough light to remain alert. Try to maintain an awareness of not slouching, not leaning. We also let go of any unnecessary tension or rigidity in the body, relaxing into a stable, comfortable, upright position, just allowing the body to fall into place. And begin to move the mind inward, letting go of attending to the outside world, allowing sights and sounds to just be as they are, no need to investigate. Letting go too of thoughts of the past, plans for the future. Concentrating your awareness in the present by attending closely to the physical sensations that accompany the in-breath and the out-breath in the space around the opening of the nostrils. Giving yourself the instruction to notice quickly when anything other than that one physical sensation is arising in the mind, and without judgment or frustration to lift your awareness up from those distractions and to place it gently but firmly again and again on the breath. And then when the mind feels a bit more calm, we'll generate a broad and altruistic motivation for our time. So begin to tap into a sense of deep gratitude for having yet woken up again in this precious human rebirth with all of its incredible freedoms and endowments. We live personally in a place of relative safety, relative peace, relative prosperity. We have a body and a mind serviceable to be applied to the spiritual path. We have incredibly easy access to spiritual teachings. We have some innate interest in following the spiritual path. And we live in a time and a place where there are still great living masters of the spiritual path that can help us due to the unbroken lineage that exists on our planet. Think how incredibly rare coming together of all of those causes and those conditions truly is. Nearly infinite number of other combinations that arise for sentient beings. So I feel too that this comes with a responsibility to not squander this opportunity. And since so few sentient beings are so well situated to tap into their potential, I think I must not let that opportunity go by. Not only for myself, but in order to truly be of benefit to countless other sentient beings, those who would have a more difficult time tapping into their own potential. I must ease that burden by transforming my mind, becoming deeply familiar with virtue, turning away from non-virtue, engaging in that process is the purpose of my time. And with that motivation, I thought my way of commemorating Martin Luther King Day would be to begin meditating together on the 11 points of cultivating bodhicitta, in which we develop love and compassion that embraces all beings, and the highest expression of that love and compassion. So we begin that today and continue on. The foundation for this practice is a mind of equanimity, a mind that can overcome having strong attachment to loved ones, friends, strong aversion, hatred to those that we label as difficult, or even the enemy. And then a vague indifference to strangers. So think of 3 people who embody those labels in your life. Imagine that they're seated in front of you, facing you. And turn your attention to your dear friend. Recognize that this person engaged in a process of becoming your friend. You found out over time that they shared common interests with you. You found them to be thoughtful, to be caring, to be supportive of your interests. And over time, that led to feelings of closeness, warmth. But recognize over the course of your life, you've felt that way towards some, and then felt more indifferent over time, or even came to feel aversion. And turn your mind toward a stranger. Think of all of your close friends, your loved ones. They began as strangers necessarily. If this stranger showed kindness, showed commonality, took an interest in you, and over time you would feel close to them. And then turn your mind toward the difficult person. And recognize that the aversion that arises in the mind is due to the ways in which you feel that this person is not acting in your interest. They don't support you. They're not actively engaged in your same interests, desires. But recognize that if they apologized, if they began to act differently, then over time you might feel quite close to that person, and that may be something with some other person in your life that has happened. So recognize that what's common in all of these labels is that they're self-referential. Each of these people is connecting to your own ego in different ways. And think that this is inherently unstable, inherently incredibly superficial. Sentient beings come and go from these categories. Is it reasonable that I work for the benefit of only my friends? That I'm averse to the interests of my enemies? And that I'm largely indifferent to the circumstances of strangers? Or is it much more reasonable to have equal regard, seeing the superficiality of this ego based way of relating, seeing them simply as suffering sentient beings who want to be happy, want to be free of suffering? That is a way of seeing them that never changes. It's based on truth. So take a moment to think in those ways toward these people and see if some sense of equal regard can arise. And then the second step is to develop a recognition of every single sentient being as having played the role of one's own mother, father, caregiver countless times. So if we can accept or adopt as a working hypothesis the idea of past and future lives, seeing this mind as a continuity that existed before this life, that will exist after body and mind separate at death. And if that continuity has no beginning, then necessarily every other sentient being has had the opportunity to be in relation to this mind in that way, numerous, countless times, given the infinity of past lives. And in each of those lives, where they played that role, they engaged in all of the normal kindnesses that a caregiver provides. Carrying us in their womb, undergoing those hardships, the hardship of birth, and then protecting that life, an incredibly fragile life, for years and years until we were somewhat independent, giving us the tools of our independence as our first teacher. To think of all of the ways in which caregivers, mothers and fathers, show kindness. And then allow your mind to be suffused with a strong wish to repay that kindness, the kindness that has been shown to you by every other sentient being. Try to experience this in a deep, visceral way. And then when you're ready, we'll come back together. And we'll dedicate. So recollect your altruistic motivation and think that by having engaged in this contemplation, you've actualized that motivation, which has generated positive energy in your mind. And think that you freely offer the fruit of your practice, that positive energy, for the benefit of all sentient beings without exception. Thinking strongly when this positive energy ripens, may it serve as a cause and condition to eliminate war and conflict, poverty, famine, disease, disasters, all painful inner and outer conditions. May it fully ripen the minds of all sentient beings. May they quickly meet perfect teachers and arise in the state of full enlightenment. May I too achieve the state of enlightenment, so that I might work for the benefit of sentient beings perfectly. May any obstacles to the Guru's long life be completely dispelled. And may I and all sentient beings in this moment come under the joyful care and guidance of enlightened beings. May we be guided and protected until we swiftly achieve that state of enlightenment. Thank you.